into some sad news. I was like, before we get to all the other celebrity news and gossip, I just want to pay my condolences. I gagged a couple of hours ago when I just happened to open up my Facebook because I was gonna post a set. I wanted to upload some of my videos and stuff on the Facebook page. You know, like when I do like this show, I cut up the clips and I post them on all the social medias. So I was in the process of like opening my Facebook. I was going to upload the video and everything, and then the first thing that pops up is Malcolm Jamal Warner dead at 54. I'm like, what? I was like, So I had to do the research. TMZ posted it. A bunch of articles was posting it. Turned out it was bad news. I had to hit my friend Omar because he's always sending me stuff. Then I cannot tell you how many people literally slid in my DMs was sending me stuff. Robert sent me stuff. My friend Raven sent me stuff. Everybody was sending me stuff. Did you hear about Michael Jamal Warner? So yeah, it is definitely true. Unfortunately, we lost one of the good ones, an icon from I think like if you're young, somebody in their 30s, even their 40s or whatever the case is, we all grew up with The Cosby Show. The Cosby Show was must-see TV in black households. I'm sure a lot of white folks watched it too. But we speaking about, this is a colored conversation. So if you are a person of color, especially if you are black and you grew up in a black household, you were watching The Cosby Show. So I grew up watching The Cosby Show, of course, and I also watched A Different World and so many other things. The Bill Cosby stuff aside, this is not what this conversation is about. There are times, like, even though Bill Cosby is a disgusting human being and a prick and an a-hole, and people always said that he was very judgmental about how other people raise their kids and all this other stuff, and all of that aside, I kind of do wish that The Cosby Show was still able to be seen on TV because it was a show that I love. It's comfort food for a lot of us of a certain age. And I feel like I would love to go, like, if The Cosby Show was to pop up on um Netflix or one of the streaming services tomorrow, I would definitely sit and rewatch all those shows because it still holds up. It was funny. And that comfort food, like I watch a lot of old sitcoms. I watch Living Single, I watch all those other shows because it was like it takes you back to a time when you didn't have to deal with so much craziness and stress and stuff in your life. So we all tend to watch a lot of these shows for that reason. And I feel like they should bring the Cosby Show back. I doubt they will because of the whole Bill Cosby situation, but there are worse people who still have their stuff on TV. Roseanne. And I don't hear y'all saying nothing about removing her stuff. But anyway, so let's get into the story now that I said all of that stuff. So um they said notoriously private about his personal life. This is from Too Fad, by the way, so shout out to y'all. Warner, as in Malcolm Jamal, is seemingly survived by his wife and daughter, the latter who were born in 2017. While he has shared photos of them both on social media, their identities have remained private. Warner was just 14 when The Cosby Show premiered in 1984. And the actor, starring as Bill Cosby's only on-screen son until the show wrapped in 1992. In that time, he also hosted SNL, appeared on Sesame Street, and played his Cosby character on spinoff A Different World for a couple of episodes. He also voiced the producer from 1994 to 1997 on the Magic School Bus before co-starring in Malcolm and Eddie, which was another show I watched. That was on the UPN. That was on from 1996 to 2000. Later work included Jeremiah on Showtime, Sherry Shepherd's sitcom Sherry, BET's Read Between the Lines, and most recently, I remember him on this. He was on 911, and he was also on The Resident. I think he played like a doctor where he had like gotten burned or whatever the case was. And then he also was a Grammy winner. So a lot of people didn't realize that he did music as well. He picked up a Best Traditional R&B Performance trophy alongside Robert Glasper Experiment featuring Layla Hathaway for the song Jesus Children in 2015. So yeah, the story is still developing, but I believe because more tea has come out since then. I know a lot of people was like, well, what did he die from? What did he die from? They said it was an accidental drowning. So apparently what happened was he was on vacation with his family in Costa Rica. He drowned on Sunday afternoon on a beach on Costa Rica's Caribbean coast. He was swimming at Playa Cocles in Limon province when a current pulled him deeper into the ocean. So basically, they said he was rescued by people on the beach, and this is what the department's initial report said. But hold on, wait. I was like, I got this off of Associated Press, by the way. So shout out to y'all because they literally posted this 5 minutes ago. So I had to do a quick Google schmoogle just to see if they had added more stuff that came out. So they said, quote, he was rescued by people on the beach. This is what the department's initial report said. But first responders from Costa Rica's Red Cross found him without vital signs and he was taken to the morgue. So Warner, well, we already talked about like what his resume and stuff is. So basically that's what happened. He was basically swimming, and then a current basically pulled him deep into the ocean. And this kind of like ignites the black people can't swim thing. But if he was a swimmer, then that defies a stereotype. However, the way the Mother Nature's been acting lately with a lot of like the climate change and currents and how them currents do not like that them currents is crazy. I remember the one time last year when Sailor Mermaid and I went to Fire Island during 4th of July. I don't know if he in here, but I'm gonna tell this story. I was like, as far as Chris goes, when I go anywhere near water or the beach, my feet is the only thing getting wet. I'm not getting in no ocean. I will stay literally on the, like on the I'll literally stay as close to the beginning part, like or in shallow water. I'm not going too far out. I'm not a really good swimmer. I don't like dealing with all that crazy stuff or things out of my control. So I don't. And then if I go in the pool, I'm staying on the shallow end because I'm not really that good of a swimmer. But also, I don't like the water like that. I'm an earth sign. So I'm not really aquatic in that way. So it's unfortunate that's got to be the worst way to go out when you having to deal with, crazy currents and like these days the currents is mad crazy and stuff out here. Now, speaking of also, so condolences to you, Malcolm. But another person who we need to talk about that passed away that I want to get to so I can wrap this up is Robbie Pardlow, I think is how you say his last name, who was the lead singer of an R&B group in the 2000s called City High. And so yeah, they basically said that he passed away last Thursday at the age of 46, and this is according to his rep. And they said that a cause of death was not provided. He died in Willingboro, New Jersey, because they was from Jersey, and they were trying to model City High after the Fugees because Wyclef Jean was their mentor, and Claudette Ortiz was on a child. I remember back in the day, Wendy Williams used to talk so much stuff about Claudette. She was kind of like the Lauryn Hill of the group in many ways than one. And I'm not talking about just with the talent, she was fucking the members too. So and at one point, Claudette went and married Ryan Toby. And Ryan Toby, y'all might remember, he was in Sister Act 2 alongside Lauryn Hill. Funny enough, like it's all connecting, right? So yeah, they both was in Sister Act 2 back in the habit. He was the one that sang "Oh Happy Day." So, and that was what got me interested in the group because I was like, "Oh, I remember you. Sister Act 2 was my." So that was what basically get me into the song and their music. But then the only song we knew from them was that song "What Would You Do," and that was a bop. But I think like their careers didn't really take off because after that album, their debut album, they broke up. Claudette went on to marry Ryan Toby, and then they ended up getting a divorce. So, yeah, so Wyclef, who actually produced that song, What Did You Do? He shared the news of Parlow's death on Instagram and said, "Gone too soon." And then What Would You Do was a song about the desperation caused by poverty that sampled the next episode by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. It peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 and earned City High a nomination for Best R&B Performance by a duo or group with vocal at the 2002 Grammy Awards. And it ended up losing, by the way, to Destiny's Child, "I'm a Survivor." So that's what they lost to. So now the group released as I said, their only album, City High, in 2001, which I actually bought because Chris was buying CDs like, you know, I was buying a lot of music back in the day. So, and then they basically said, yeah, they released their album in 2001 with Partlow taking lead on the LP's production and Toby handling most of the writing. Their second single, Caramel, featured Eve and peaked at number 18 on the Billboard Hot 100. The album peaked at number 34 on the US Billboard 200 and landed at number 136 on the year-end chart in 2001. So it was like, yeah, they was making music. They were trying to make them like this conscious trio of sorts where they were just putting out like But I just don't think that people they really stood out creatively and musically. I mean, the songs was cute or whatever, but that "What Would You Do" song, that was like the only song that really peaked for me. When I listened to the album, I was just like, okay, this is like some your standard generic conscious R&B hip hop type vibe. Like y'all were trying to do the whole Fugees thing, but it wasn't giving. Like Fugees is Fugees for a reason, and you should just let them be them. So City High disbanded shortly after the release of the album, and Toby and Ortiz began a relationship that ended in divorce in 2007. Harlow continued making music with the band First Take. Now, this is the part that gagged me when I first read this story. They said a week before his death, Harlow published a cryptic post on Threads saying, "This is kind of morbid, but I just took out a $500,000 life insurance policy on myself, and for a second I was hyped. Like, I need to hurry up and die so we can get this bread to finish remodeling this house." So they said that he died shortly after the death of Toby's daughter, Hannah. So Ryan Toby had a daughter, Hannah. I don't know if that's a child that he and Claudette have a kid together. Like, I'm not sure, or this was a kid from a previous relationship. So they said, I got the news that my niece passed. It's hard to hold it together. Hannah was a firecracker and taken way too soon. I wish there was more I could have done, some more advice I could have given to help her. I'm just praying for my brother Ryan Toby and sister Charlie Dean now. So with that being said, it kind of makes you wonder that was there an unaliving that happened with Ryan Toby's daughter? And is that something that also happened with uh Robbie Pardlow? Because here's the thing, I think when you do a life insurance thing and you trying to use that money, I don't think you're supposed to take yourself out. Like that only works if you actually still have, if it was like you were sick or whatever the case was. So I'm sure I'll definitely keep my eye abreast on this story as it develops. We'll see if more comes out about the whole Malcolm Jamal Warner situation. I'm sure they're going to do an autopsy, and it'll probably be like, yeah, it was an accidental drowning, but when it comes to autopsies, they got to make the confirmation. So I'll find out more about that, and I'll definitely keep an eye on this Robbie story as it develops, because when you writing it in a week before your death, some craziness that you took out a $500,000, $500,000 life insurance policy on yourself, I'm looking at you a little side-eyed and suspicious. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Malcolm Jamal Warner, as well as, one of the lead singer of City High, Robbie Pardlow, both passing away within days of each other? So whatever your thoughts are on this matter, let me know in the comments down below.